thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. Yep. Yeah, I am. What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening. How do I know? Because I said so. And we typically do have very good conversations, and the goal is to give you answers, not just to talk about the problems. And so today we're going to be talking about how can we get along as it relates to men and women in and out of relationships and marriages. So hopefully we'll have some great answers. Well, we will have some great answers. Not hopefully, we're gonna have some great answers, great discussions, and the people that's coming on have already been cracking jokes on each other, and you'll be able to tell by the first question that we got that's going to do our intro today. And it's going to go like this: do you think Jesus would have a podcast? Do you think Jesus would have a podcast? And we're gonna start with. I'm gonna have to fix that noise. We're gonna start with none other than himself, Mr. Robert in the building.
Yo, yeah, he'll have a podcast. Everybody else got one. So yeah, it'd probably be called Healing Business too. You know, healing business, because everybody out here, we done turned church into therapy. And we done turned it into some things that it ain't supposed to be. And I think he'd come and correct that. So yeah, he'd have a podcast.
That's what's up. Thank you for being here, homie.
Yeah, you know what it is. Good to see y'all.
Yeah. Hey, and then also welcome to the stage, none other than Mr. Pittsburgh himself, prototype.
Hey. There we go. Man, Mr. Pittsburgh, I love that. I don't think so. I think all his disciples would, though, and they would just feature him on the pod. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have his own church. He just had homies, like, you know what I'm saying? And we read the books of his friends, like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't write a book. You know what I'm saying? So I think his homies would have, the Mark podcast and they would just feature Jesus, from time to time.
That's what's up, man. That's a dope answer. I didn't even think that was coming. Hey, appreciate you for being here, sir. Hey, and we're gonna rock out for next guest, and she always ready, on point. I will call her the spirit animal of prototype. It's me, Jamie.
Hey, everybody. Prototype. Like, we really on it tonight though, because that was my answer. Like, that literally was. I was like, nah, Jesus would never have one, but his friends would. And so you took my answer. And that's cool, but it's the truth. I don't think Jesus would have one. The word of mouth is everything to him, even when it came to the word of God. He would tell people, don't tell them what I did for you, knowing good and well that people are going to have to tell what he did. He even used reverse psychology in the Bible. Because if he would have told them, tell everybody what I did, we would have been like, I ain't saying nothing. But it is human nature to do the exact opposite of what you're told to do.
I got a prime example of that reverse psychology that he used is when the lady was like, just some crumbs from your table would be enough. He's like, I didn't even come for you. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was like reverse psychology right there. So yeah.
That's what's way to get it started. And then none other than Mr. Barry White himself. Well, I guess not himself because he's not here, but other airwaves, Mr. Lost in Transport.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Humble Dad?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Jesus would absolutely have a podcast. It'll be called The Lamb and the Lion. You know what I'm saying? And he would definitely have trolls in the chat. He definitely would, man. I think it'd be too good, man, not to have, because he have his own music. Jesus on the main line, gonna tell me what you want. You know what I'm saying? He have praise dancers and everything. You know what I mean? The fire music. I think he probably would, man. I think people would be calling in and people would be watching just to see if whose sin is worse than the others. I think it'd be awesome, man. I think it'd be awesome.
That's what's up. I appreciate that answer, Doc. Appreciate you for being here as usual.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. And none other than the one that tries to be the commentator every time he comes on the show, the man with all the questions, Jay Zilla in the building.
Look, man, it's a thin line between tries and accomplishes. Okay.
Okay.
But man, I'm just gonna second LIT's answer. The lamb in the line is crazy. One of the craziest things I've heard was literally when the devil is going back and forward with Christ, trying to whatever tempt him. So if the word of God is a sword, basically he described it as a sword fight. And so I would love to see that in podcast form, just literally Satan and Christ sitting and just battling out scripture wise. That'd be cool. So yeah, but if you don't have a podcast, he's at least on tour, right? He's at least, doing something in front of a large group of people. No? Okay.
All right, well, we got a newcomer to the stage. I didn't know that I knew her, but I think I remember her from SFA. None other than Miss Renee in the building.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. So, do I think Jesus will have a podcast? I don't think he will have one, but I think like somebody will have a spam account acting like that they're Jesus, and then like trying to relay messages, because I think we'll get on his nerves. He wouldn't have time to be trying to deal with all our foolishness. So I don't really think he'll have one, because it's bad enough he got to hit us on the back of the neck with the sounder every day because we can't get right. Just think if he was down here having a podcast and people going back and forth on you slept with Johnny and that's Susie husband, and he didn't have time for all that. So I don't think he will have one.
Okay. So I'm trying. I didn't keep up with the poll. So Robert said no. Did you say
yes?
He said yes. Proto said no, but his friends. Laos said yes.
Yeah.
Jamie said no. Jay Zilla said, what did you say? You said yes. And Renee said no.
Was that 3-3?
No, it's not. Is it? It's 3-3? That's crazy.
Yeah, 3-3.
You got to go to break the tie.
That's crazy. Well, I always go. I would say that he would have one. He just wouldn't go live. You know what I'm saying? All his would be recorded because he's like, listen, you don't need to know when I'm dropping,
Right?
Where I'm at. I'm just gonna let him go, and then he'll use the AI, you know what I'm saying, so that he can disperse all of his messages out just like he does with the scripture. So you know what I'm saying? So I think he would, just so he can. He was always relevant if you think about it. Every conversation that he had with somebody, he was always relevant. So that's why I would say yes. That was a dope starting point. I like that. Maybe that'll get us together on being together today, right? Did y'all watch? It was some interesting things that happened. I didn't. This is coming off the cuff, right? There was the debate, right? Heard that was trash. Okay, listen, when I watched, I thought it was hilarious.
I needed an interpreter. I couldn't understand what was being said.
And on the other hand, there was something else that was trash on the BET Awards.
It's definitely trash.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like a trash weekend for some people, but I enjoyed mine. I was in the ATL, hanging out with my wifey. We went to a wedding, and so that was pretty dope.
So, hold up, time out, bro.
Yes,
bro.
Yes.
How you come to Atlanta, man, and not like reach out? Hey, I'm around. Hey, let's catch a meal. Something.
That's a very good question. Can I respond? Okay, so we got there Friday morning at 1, and then all Friday we was somewhere, literally somewhere with either the bride and groom, or we was with or we was with her brother and her brother-in-law and her sister. And then Saturday she wasn't feeling well. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take care of her all day for all day Saturday. And then Sunday, we went to church with her sister, and then we left. So I didn't have no time because I had to take care of her. You know what I'm saying? But hey, next time, for sure. Yeah. I appreciate you checking me. That's what's up. I would have did the exact same thing. All right, I'm gonna have to fix this. So I'm gonna ask this first question. And we're gonna rock it like this. Should voting preference be a question asked on the first date? Should voting preference, you like that, Jamie, be a question asked on a first date? I'm trying to get us to get along. You know what I'm saying? From on the jump, right? I don't think this is anything that should be confrontational, but that's just me. So we're gonna start out with Robert. What you got?
So I definitely think, it's an intelligent conversation starter. The problem I have with that is folks be asking intelligent questions knowing they don't really do that for real. So if you don't vote, you know what I'm saying, like asking them questions like, what's your voting preference, just to, sound intelligent, is almost like bringing your representative. Like my mind automatically went there to like, because I've been asked that before, and then come to find out the lady that I was dealing with at that time had never voted in her life. And so I'm like, so you asked that question for what? You a Democrat for what? You know what I mean? Do you even know why? You know what I mean? And then, of course, me being 17 years prior military, obviously that has an impact on what life looked like for me, especially when it came to combat and stuff like that. And, I don't really think it, in dealing with someone, I don't think like someone's voting preference would be a deal breaker. But my biggest thing is like, that's in alignment with asking questions that are like really like your personality. Like if you be on Sheen 24/7, don't ask me about voting preferences when you know what I'm saying, when you're on TMZ all day. You know what I mean? Because half of the time, and unfortunately, like in our community, sometimes like it's unfortunate, but a lot of people in our community are uneducated. And they try to speak on things that they don't really know about. And so they speak on things that they heard versus what they read. And so now, even if they gave an opinion, a lot of times, it's a filtered opinion about what they see on social media versus what they really know, what they believe in their heart. And I'm really connected to people not saying things out of their mouth that their heart don't believe. So I think you should ask, but I think if you don't ask, it's not a deal breaker. And I think voting preferences, I don't think it's a deal breaker for the relationship. So, Renee, you knew. Yeah, let's go with Renee. What's up?
I do not think that you should ask that on a first date, because there are way more important questions that you should be asking. But I do believe that you should see kind of what their personality is like, because we need to figure out if we even like each other, like interacting wise. But as a first date, I really don't care who you voting for. I would just probably care if you're voting. But I need to know specifics, like, do you want any more kids? Because if you do, I got to step away from the table. So that's not a first date question for me. Prototype.
I would say any question should be a first date question. Like, I don't think there's anything that you should really hold back on, with the right intent behind it. Right? If you're just trying to learn about if you're genuinely trying to learn about a person and how they answer, I really don't care who you're voting for. I'm just trying to get you to explain something about you. You know what I'm saying? Your thought process. So it's not like, but I know like a lot of people are really trying to hide themselves until they get to a certain point, until they get what they want out of you. You know what I'm saying? So whether that be the free meal or just you paying for stuff to have a good time. Like I know a lot of asking women like questions that makes them think is like probably a turn off for them. So it's unfortunate, but so it's best to keep quiet. You know what I'm saying, and let her do her business, because she really don't want to show you that she don't have a brain at all. Let's go with Jay Zilla.
Oh man, I need to catch my breath after that. I'm with you on this, Proto, as long as you're doing it to try to figure out something about the person and not using it as a way to just automatically disqualify, based off of it. Tell me why you voted for this person and then fill their answers out. That's a great way to lead to a lot of open-ended questions. And, we humans love talking about ourselves. So all you got to do is start the motor and let them go and take notes, listen. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Man, is that everybody?
Oh,
Boss?
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Thank you. I hadn't went yet, and Jamie hadn't went yet. I'm definitely gonna ask it because I need to know where you stand. You know what I mean? There will be no second date. I'm not gonna waste your time, and you definitely not gonna waste mine. You know, what's the point? What's the point of falling in love with somebody if you diametrically opposed to what they are politically? You see what I'm saying? Because your politics is gonna dictate your movements and how you move throughout any relationship. So yes, I'm gonna ask the question because my thing is this: it's gonna be the precipice of how we move going forward. You know what I mean? How well do you think for yourself? You know, how did you arrive at your political leanings? You see what I'm saying? So yes, I'm gonna ask. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there is a wrong answer. So I'm gonna go with Jamie next.
Well, you know, since I do politics and I love politics and I probably would end up running for something again, yes, the answer, like the question has to be asked, and there is a wrong answer for me as well. So shout out to Lost for us coming with that fire before me, because it's the truth. And if you give the wrong answer, there will not be a second date, because politics is nothing to play with. And it does determine how you move within the relationship. I need to know. I gotta know. So that's my answer.
That's what's up, man. I didn't get to hear some of y'all because I don't know what's going on with this internet stuff. But for me, I did not ask it, but I think that it came up very, very quickly in the conversation, right? If it wasn't day one, it was definitely day two where it was a conversation. And it allowed me to see her purview and to also kind of get a question as to why. You know what's crazy? When I got back on the dating path or whatnot, I remember telling God, I said, listen, I really do not want her to be a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I said. I said, listen, she can not vote and not care about the election. Before I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Because that's just not how I roll. You can roll however you want to, but I'm telling people where I'm at. And it's cool if you don't like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I did. And it led to some very good dialogue, even up until now, you know, having different conversations about politics. And so I do believe that politics does give people an idea how people think. Also, just is no different than the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because they say don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics. Why not? And that's where you get to find out how people think and why they think that way, right? And then you get to make the decision if you want to rock with that person or not. You know, even in friend groups. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to be different in friend groups, but a relationship is gonna be real challenging if y'all are not equally yoked on that particular point. That's what's up. So that's good, man.
Humble Dad, can I ask a question to Lost in Translation and Jamie?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, and I'm not opposed. I'm all with there is a wrong answer, because I believe, I'll say it this way, like, I ain't gonna say there is a wrong answer, but your justification for your answer can be wrong. I'll say it like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know. So, but I want to know specifically the part where you said it kind of determines. It says you determine how you think. I got that part. But then it also said it like determines how you act. And so I'm just asking strictly because I'm a military guy, and I think like the military has influenced how I act. But I don't know if what president I vote for determines how I act. So if you could expound on that, I'm curious to, you know, because both of y'all said it. I want to hear from a male's perspective and a female's perspective, how it determines how you act. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's my thing. That's a great question, Robert, because it seeks clarity. Basically, what it is when you're a certain age, you're going to vote a certain way based upon your experience. You see what I'm saying? And as you get older, I found that people's politic changes based upon their life circumstances and also how they've gone through certain things. And the military is one of those things where I've seen people who've been in the military who've changed their politics based upon what they've been through. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's what you've been taught growing up, and says, hey, my family's always voted a certain way. But my thing is this: once you become a certain age and a certain level of wisdom, it teaches you that, hey, this person really thinks for themselves. And I really need somebody to think for themselves, regardless of what I say or what anybody else says. If you can stand on business for what you believe in and you can justify it, that is somebody I can trust, because that's somebody who can think for themselves. Does that make sense? I'll get an honest answer from somebody who has justifications on why they believe what they believe. And that's somebody who I can trust to make decisions with going forward. Does that make sense?
Love it. I'd only say back to that, because again, I on this particular topic, I refer back to the military. And like you said, I love what you said about life experiences, because for a long time, because I had so many combat tours, that definitely impacted. And so when you say there's a wrong answer, I don't know what side of the fence that you're on, but if you were trying to date me, Jamie, and I was on a particular side of the fence that protected my safety, but maybe didn't protect our culture, I understand you saying there is a wrong answer. I'm not saying you said that, by the way. This is totally an example. But I guess the conversation of voting preference, I think like you said earlier, if we keep it as a conversation topic so we can explore the brain, and we do it for good intentions and not a way to exclude, because it is about life experience. It is about what you're connected to. It is about, ultimately what impacts your life. And if there's some things that haven't impacted your life, then maybe you don't have the social context to make a decision that's like-minded. Doesn't mean that we can't get there. So the whole ideology of there being a wrong answer, that's why I said there could be a wrong perspective behind your answer, but not so much a wrong answer. That's why I didn't give Jamie a chance, though, if you want to hit on that as well.
No, Lost explained it well. I was going to say the same thing, so it doesn't matter. Like, for instance, my whole entire family is Democrat, and I'm not, right? Yeah. And I had to stand on business. So when I go to family events, Jamie is I'm like, dang, we going to start the conversation. I can't even eat without y'all bringing that up. I'm trying to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that standing on business thing is like, and I'm a business owner, and it benefited me there. I also believe this, and this in the Bible, and these people believe this, and this, and they don't push this agenda. And so therefore, if I go according to what I believe in my belief system and my experiences, I'm going to go with what's right. Not what, because they don't have no real justification for why they picked what they picked. They just pick it. And I love them to death, though. Don't get it twisted. But I do get the you are every time I go eat.
Yeah. I mean, they do have a justification that makes sense for them. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't agree, what I mean? But they don't have the experience to change. And that's why I kind of, Robert already said it. He already pushed where I was going to push at. It's like, it doesn't really matter if they have a wrong answer. Like, they can't really have a wrong answer because they haven't met you. And meeting you can change. Conversations with you can change their whole way of thinking about that moving forward. You know what I'm saying? They grew up one way, and they experience things like, oh, I'm Democrat. Then they meet you, get a whole new perspective. I'm like, oh, they Jamie you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they change their whole way of moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it could be one of those things.
And Prototype knows best. If you know, you know.
My bad, but I just wanted to kind of get some more on that.
No apologies. We dialoguing,
that
bro.
Was good.
I be appreciating when y'all tap in. That means I don't have to ask all my questions. Yeah. Right. So that was good. So transitioning into, even though you may have, there are times that most of the time you want to be aligned, but there'll be times where y'all disagree in a relationship. But I want to know just about this men and women in a relationship, or even just thinking about being in a relationship. They're having some troubles, but I want to know, because it seems as though we're not aligned on anything right now, for whatever reason. But I want to know, what are some things that you would say that we are aligned on? So what do most men and women agree on? What do most men and women agree on? Jamie, you're going to have to start laughing every time I ask a question. Like, every time I ask a question, come off mute, Jamie. Why are you laughing? Let's start there first, and then I'm going to come to Renee after she answers this question.
Why am I laughing? Because sometimes I feel like your question is kind of like, they like fire starters in a way. You know, what do they agree on? Like nothing. The thing that we agree on is absolutely, we don't agree on much. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, no, I'm looking for you to actually dive in and try to find something. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to go to the
we agree that we don't agree. That's what it is. We agree. We all can agree that we do not agree.
That's your like we.
I'm sorry, but I'm okay.
That's for real.
Because that's exactly what came to my head. I'm sorry. That's exactly what came to my head. As soon as you said that, I was like, well,
what are solutions?
Yeah.
Go beyond what your first thought was. Do we need to come back to you?
Yeah, for sure. Because that was, I just gave you my first answer. Like that is initially really what came to my thought.
Don't go with nothing. I want you to give me something. Renee, what you got?
I was gonna say nothing but I had to really think about it. So I think most men and women agree that they want to build with someone genuinely. I think they want to have like a healthy relationship, but I think we go about it differently, and that's where the disconnect probably comes from, because we both essentially say we want the same thing. Because I'm single, and so now I'll be seeing all these people, and they're saying they're single. We're saying we're wanting the same thing, but the execution is not the same. But I'm gonna say we both saying we want the same thing, but we're not going about getting it the same way.
This is up. I like that. Who you got going next?
Mr. Robert.
There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there. What did they say on the Boondocks? So this is I got an answer, right? But it's like it's before I met Christ. But so I think that men and women agree on sex. They don't agree that the sex is good all the time. The sex, they may have different levels of sex, but I think naturally, because we're both made with genitalia that are supposed to come together at a certain point in time in relationship. Marriage mostly, but there are people that subscribe to sex premaritally, and I think the male and female anatomy agree that sex is necessary at whatever time that they think is necessary in their relationship. So that I just want to just hit that real quick, because we gonna all skate over it, but that's the truth. We all agree on sex. I want some cheeks.
Wow. Like, okay. So I got you. Jay Zilla, it's on you, bro.
Oh man, I go after the funniest, most intelligent answers. Man, this is tough. I put it in the chat. Actually, we don't want to die, be disrespected, or be bothered unless we want to. But man, again, I want to steal Robert's answer. That's a good one. Because something about, no matter how much men complain about women, we're still out here having these babies, still getting these marriages. I don't care how much women complain about men, they still give these psychos a chance. Like, men are the number one killers of women, number one abusers of women, number one cheaters of women. But the next time a nice guy smells good, looks like he got most of his teeth, comes along, it's like, I'll go by myself with you at night for dinner. We just seem to be drawn towards each other, which is why your conversations are super important, Humble Dad, and I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm going to go with, is Jamie ready? I am so eager for her answer. No, I'm going to go with.
This is what Jamie going to do. I'm going to tell you what Jamie going to do.
Okay.
This is what everybody stole my answer.
Yeah, no. That's not what she going to do. That's not what she going to do. That's Ashley. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley. Everybody stole my answer. What Jamie gonna do is gonna go last and then say, I don't have nothing to say because y'all done said it all. Like that's her MO.
Yeah.
Right? But then if I don't let her go first, she complain about not going first. You see what I'm saying? So see, me and her agree. That's a start. Jay Zilla, who you got?
I'm gonna go with
Jamie if you want to, by the way.
Ooh, that's interesting. Now, Jamie knows why. Okay. Allow me to be petty a little bit. I'm going to pick It's Me, Jamie.
All right. So I think we can agree that men don't understand women and women don't understand men.
Okay.
Yep. We can agree on that we don't understand one another.
So you think that most men think that they don't understand women?
No, I think that they say it all the time. I don't understand you. When we get in arguments, I don't understand you. You know, like that's what everybody says.
They're saying that we say that because
and we say that to y'all too.
I'm telling you, we're not saying that we don't understand you in the sense of the word of not understanding. We're saying, like, how in the world did you say A but you do B?
Yeah, I like that, Humble Dad. We logically understand you.
Yeah.
We get confused when you misunderstand yourself.
Yeah.
And then we have to like create a formula without an instruction manual on how to deal.
You asked me rewrote the alphabet. A. I did A. You was bothered that I didn't do B. I don't understand that.
I got you.
But women don't.
Okay,
so
basically,
I understand why you said it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why I think that you said that as a statement because women don't understand men, right?
Right.
They don't even, y'all don't understand why, because y'all ask that question like, why do you do that? Even though it may be something logical, y'all say, why you do that? Well, it's the logical thing to do, but to you, it didn't feel a way, right? So that's why y'all don't typically understand because we go with logic, y'all go with feelings. It's most times, not all the times, right? And so men also, you see what happens when men go with feelings over logic, they end up in some bad places.
So that's why, for the record, men don't get other men that are emotional either. We get confused with other emotional men as well. So there's a point, and I say that because I say that because I got a friend right now. We have a 7-minute limit. Like if I call him right now, I got to vent.
Yeah, I think you told us about that.
Yeah, we talk because I think after 7 minutes we stay stuck in that emotional place too long, and it starts to get weird. The sonic, hearing gets weird, right? But logistically, right, you can. After the 7 minutes, we develop solutions, and then we develop courses of action. So yeah, men don't understand emotional men either. So,
are you saying emotional, like as in like not complaining, but like have problems and they can't solve them themselves? Like
when I say emotional, I mean they have no internal equilibrium, like to pull themselves back to like their internal masculinity. So it's like my emotions cause me to get in a relationship quickly. My emotions cause me to get out of relationship quickly. My emotions make me go buy things I can't afford, and then I ask God to cover it. You know what I mean? My emotions lead my life versus logic leading my life. I mean, there are certain lines of demarcation that men cross that allow us to cement our maturity, right? It's like a display of manhood. Okay, you do certain things like when you're a man, you buy a house and you get insurance and you get pest control and you get termite control. When you're like legit, you know what I'm saying? You do all the things that go with buying a house. But when you're emotional, you do stuff like go buy a storm door before you make sure you got insurance. You know what I mean? Because you're worried about the aesthetic. You know what I mean? You do stuff like, fix your lawn before you know what I'm saying? Get a security system. You know what I mean? So men just do things logically. And we get to everything eventually, but I think emotional men do things based on like kind of like what they see and not what really is in alignment with their life. Like they don't like, I think emotional men, I think they pray, but I don't think they pray correctly. I think they pray for their will to be done, not God's will to be done.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Robert. You're saying something
like,
I think what he's saying to just
he's
saying that that emotional men concern themselves with the Joneses.
Yeah.
But emotional women don't though. So I mean, he was comparing the two, and I was trying to figure out because I'm like, I don't think like that.
I don't think he comparing the two.
No,
that we don't like emotional men either.
Right. Not saying that y'all are the same.
Okay.
Emotional men don't work for logistical men either. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
But men don't show emotions the same either, right? So you're saying, like, for instance, for a woman, she's met with something that's fear-based. She's taught that she can cry and get over it and be afraid. Men, right? The old adage, show me a person who's angry, I'll show you someone who's afraid. right? We usually lash out. You see these videos of people popping out of trash cans. The first thing is, I'm about to fight him. What's up? But that's how they show fear. I think men have created these spaces where we can get that out and work some things out without worrying about, walking on eggshells and the verbal, emotional emotes, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what you meant by that, or that's what you were saying by the emotional maturity.
Yeah.
So who is it on? Who went last? Was it Jamie?
Yeah. Let's go with Lost.
Thank you. That's a lot of buzzwords, man. Here's my thing. I'm gonna go back to touch on something that Jay Zilla said. Jay Zilla said that most men abuse women. That's not true. Most women abuse women. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that straight. Because most men protect women. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna put that out there because that's the truth. Another thing, I think the main reason men and women can agree on certain things is security. They want to make sure that they're secure in their relationship. That's regardless of gender. You know what I mean? I think men want to be secure, knowing that their woman is there, for the family. And most women want to make sure that their husband is there secure for their family. They don't want a man going out having kids outside of the family, compromising the household finances. It's the same way that men want to make sure that the woman that they have is having their kid, inside their family, because that also is security for their particular family. So if there's anything that we can agree on, it's actually security. Now, as far as speaking to the emotional thing, I think most women want men who are emotionally intelligent, but at the same time, most men are trained to be emotionally intelligent. Most men are trained to control their emotions. Most women are not. Most women are taught to, say, it's okay, girl, and they'll pull each other's hair and they'll brush each other's hair and tell each other they're beautiful. Men don't do that. Men tell you, hey, man, suck it up. You know what I mean? Work that out. Go to the gym, man. Get that stress off your back. Most men are taught how to contain and control their emotions. So when women say that they want men who are emotionally intelligent, I don't really think they give men a credit enough for them being intelligent and for dealing with their emotions, because they're merchants of dealing with their emotions. Men have to go through things and perform regardless of how they feel. They have to get up and go to work regardless how they feel, whether they're sick or not. They have to deal with women's emotions, whether they feel like dealing with it or not. They have to deal with kids' bad behavior, whether they feel like it or not. So when women say that they want a man that's emotionally intelligent, most men are emotionally intelligent. I have to ask the question, are most women emotionally intelligent? Because they can actually come unglued by the smallest, simplest things, like you didn't take out the trash when I wanted you to, and I'm always doing everything. When in reality, most times it's the man that's doing most of the thing. You just got mad with him because he didn't do it right when you told him to, and I questions whether or not women are emotionally intelligent. So when they use stuff like that, I always question it. And it's usually the opposite. But if I had to lean on a particular thing that most men and women agree on, it's security. Knowing whether or not this person can be emotionally intelligent and secure in their person, so that person can be safe in the relationship. And I'm going to go with Dwayne next since he was late. Welcome, sir.
Such a phenomenal take, though. That was
appreciate it, Los.
Dope. Hey, what's up, Dwayne? Hey, listen, I was right about you.
Really? What would you say? I was going to be late?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's different than absent.
Well, yeah. Well, you probably hear it often, but yeah, you're right. All right, now that we're past this.
Bet. So the question is, no, we got to go back to the top. Okay. The question that we asked from the beginning, you get two questions, right? Okay. Right. The first question was, do you think Jesus would have a podcast?
Well, he was the first social media influencer. He said, follow me. And look at everybody else. Follow me on this, that, the other. Just saying.
Good stuff, homie. My dude. And the second question is, what do most men and women agree on? And it has to, okay. He was ready with his answer. Okay, say it again.
Sex.
My man.
Sex. They ain't even got to be in a relationship. Boy, they could just been drunk and bumped into each other in the hallway, right? Next thing they know, how'd I end up here? Whose house is this? How am I getting home?
My dude came in swinging. What's up? Hey, is that your final answer?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
2 for sex.
Two people said sex for sure.
No, I remember I changed mine, so that's 3. So I'm taking Roberts.
You changed it. Okay, that's a bet. And security is what's lost in translation, but they don't even care about security and sex. So we can't put those together.
Oh no. There's security in sex.
What?
There is security in sex.
Explain.
I'm getting mine. My desires is being satisfied. Therefore, that's comfort right there. Peace of mind.
Especially when you work out a partnership and it's like the same person and stuff like that.
There you go.
Security, a whole bunch of S words. Security, safety.
I was gonna say that it would be secure if the person that you're sleeping with, you made them feel safe, and then y'all can explore a lot of different things within the sex realm.
And so it does mean that there is security because women don't have sex with dudes they don't feel secure with.
Some women do,
but most women don't.
They have to do a lot of work to be able to. Most research shows that most women have a better sexual experience with the same partner over a longer period of time versus how we're just more sensitivity driven. You know?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that statement. I'm saying I agree with that statement, but I'm saying that women are not going to have, most women, and if I need to do 51%, I will. Most women they have sex with a dude that they are secure with.
If that's the case, then where does the whole phase come from?
Lots of drugs and alcohol.
They're secure with several dudes.
I think that phase
you got to think about who they give it to in the hoe phase.
Exactly.
In the hoe phase, it's the Chads, it's the Tyrones. You know what I'm saying? So it's the hyper masculinity guys. Is who
securing the bag.
Well, I don't know if that is it, but it's the hyper masculine dudes that fall into the, you know what I'm saying, hoe phase. So.
Prototype, I got a question, man. Can you trust a woman that had a hoe phase?
Nah.
I was thinking that just now.
I think everybody's hoe phase looks different because, like, one woman's hoe phase may be I had a boyfriend and then I slept with 2 different dudes and then I met my husband. Or you may have somebody that slept with like 50 different dudes and then they found their security. But everybody hoe phase, it looks different.
I guess we need to know who did that. Who did it?
I got one for you.
I didn't do it.
You don't agree?
No, I don't.
I'm trying to understand. Can we define what the whole phase looks like for women? Because
where did we go? Okay, so who? First of all, listen. I'll just be interested in how the questions go. Do you see what the question that's on the screen?
Robert said the whole phase, and I'm just trying to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we need to know how is it determined?
Wait, and then one other thing I want to add on to that is
I got you. Listen, I'm gonna get to you. I'm just simply stating the context of what's going on.
Y'all. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I just want everybody to see the pin that's supposed to be at the top, right? Which is what do most men and women agree on?
Sex was the biggest answer. So now
sex was an answer, and so we're trying to figure out how the sex.
I got a better one for y'all though, because it ain't sex.
I am not in opposing. I am just prefacing that we are about to go where we're about to go, right? That's all I'm doing. It's
all connected.
I know. And I just want, before we get down the rabbit hole, I want y'all to know we're about to go in the rabbit hole.
Gotcha.
Most folks don't let y'all know that.
We could have been there. We could have been there, Elijah. We could have been down that rabbit hole.
I was interrupted.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, we sorry.
Homer didn't say get your flashlight ready.
Everybody thought I was saying something different. See, that's what happens when you don't listen. Right? We're about to go down this rabbit hole. We talk about sex, and the preference we're talking about specifically is what is the definition of a whole phase. All right. So, who brought up the word whole phase?
Mr. Robert.
Okay, so give me 30 seconds to get. Well, you're not gonna take 30. So just give me a short illustration or definition of what you would say a whole phase is.
I can say what it's not. I think so. I don't think like women that date multiple men and they like are in a relationship and it didn't work out because you decide to give it up after 2 weeks. That don't really make you a hoe. I think when there's no like exclusivity, like I ain't got to date you, I ain't got to take you out to eat. I can just call you after 12 and I can get it. And you're in a space where you're using the lack of emotional security that the man had that was dating you didn't have as your justification to not be accountable to your own pussy. I'm sorry.
Pastor?
I'm being real. We're talking like it's about accountability. It's about accountability.
Dwayne had to make sure he was on mute.
Yeah, it's about accountability. So I don't think like so that's why I don't know how the whole phase comes up, and I don't know personally what it really looks like because I don't know. That's why I'm asking. This is helping me.
That's fine. The part that you said is exclusivity.
Yeah.
If there's no exclusivity, then that's a whole phase.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go with Renee because she tried to break down that.
Well, I didn't answer the last question.
Well, I apologize. Go ahead, Prototype.
My bad, Prototype.
But the one thing that men and women agree on is food. Y'all all breaking it down to sex. Like we won't go to events over food. Every holiday is food. Thanksgiving, cookouts, everything is food. You know what I'm saying? After sex, before sex, food. You know what I'm saying? So if there's one thing that we all could agree on as a society, a culture, obesity, whatever, it doesn't matter where you at. Everybody comes together over food.
I ain't feeling that.
Now we can talk about the whole phase.
Hold on,
Got
Rob.
some eating.
Let me we got to get down to the rabbit hole. Go ahead, Renee.
Well, I was just trying to figure out how do you determine what the whole phase is?
That's
Because, like I said, everybody
asking
whole
you
phase may look different.
So what
Because
would
you have some people who have a breakup and they sleep with maybe 2 people in between their next relationship. Are they a hoe? Or
That's
are they
what we're
not?
asking you, though. We're asking you to define. You're saying that it
I need
depends.
your help.
So my definition of what a whole phase would be is you're sleeping with whoever wants to sleep with you. So if it's like 15 people, you're sleeping with all 15. And if it's some more, it's some more. Like that you're like getting trains rent, like all of those things. I think that's like a whole phase. If you're talking to and y'all have sex, I don't call that a whole phase. But if you're just having sex to be having sex as a sport, I think that's your whole phase.
I do want to jump in. Since you said train, I could just sum it up in how many words is that? All aboard? That's 2 words. Since you said train, I was like, wow. So it's all aboard. So whoever can get on. Boy, that's that. Yeah, that would be mine.
Okay, that's 3 words.
Yeah.
All right. So, Proto, what you got?
A whole phase is when you're not in a relationship and you're having sex with multiple people. But it's still a if a guy ever asks you to smoke and you had sex with him, you're a hoe. If he ever fed you and you had sex with him, you're a hoe. If you're not in a relationship with this person, you're a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you're having sex with somebody you are not in a relationship with, you're a hoe. So that's your hoe phase. If it's an ex and you're in the break and just because you don't want to add more numbers to your body count and it's somebody you've been with in the past, you're a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you're not in a committed relationship with somebody and you're having sex with somebody, you're a hoe. That's your hoe phase. So yeah.
So talking is not equating to being in a relationship. I'm just trying to get it for clarification.
You know it's not. You a hoe.
No, I'm asking. So if I'm talking to you and we're dating and we're having sex, so that's my whole phase too? I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
You a hoe. Because after 2 times, I'm cool. And we never said we was in a relationship, so I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Then you want to talk to somebody else for 2 weeks and they're going to be like, when's the last time you had sex? And you're probably not going to tell them you just had sex like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? But if you do tell them you had sex 2 weeks ago, they're going to be like, oh, you a hoe. So I'm going to hit it 2 and then be gone. You know what I'm saying? Because you just met me and you a hoe. So, yeah. anytime you're not in a relationship with somebody and y'all exclusive, you're a hoe. It's your hoe face.
Lost your definition.
My definition. I think what Renee said was more of a line with sexual exploration. It deals with more like a fear of missing out. You know what I'm saying? If I get married, then I'm not going to have the type of sex that I wanted. But if we actually went to the definition of what a hoe is 20 in the front and 40 in the back. You know what I'm saying? That's where you exchange sex for money. You know what I'm saying? That's two totally different things. You see what I'm saying? When you're dealing with somebody who's being sexually liberal, that's somebody who just wants to have sex for the fun of it. But if we go back to the very definition of it, that's where somebody exchanges sex for money. That's two totally different things.
That's the occupation.
Gotcha.
Precisely.
I'm gonna break it down in a few moments. Jamie.
I feel like I have the strictest guidelines, like listening to everybody's answer. And so I feel like really, if you just having sex outside of marriage, even if you're in a relationship, I just feel like, and there's more than one partner, you kind of technically had a whole phase. Like I don't, because I feel like a woman, there should be some discretion to what you do or who you lay with. So even for me, like having 2 or more partners, it's too much. I'm just being real. It's just too much, right? So I think my thing is too strict, because I would say like I had a whole phase, but I didn't know no better. But having more than 2 men, that's just too much. But I didn't have.
Go back and think about it.
Yeah. Like even though I was in relationships, you get what I'm saying? Like that doesn't mean that it was right. It just wasn't right. Like if I would have known better, I would have just waited and just had one man and been straight. That's it. To be honest.
Zilla. Appreciate it, Jay Zilla.
Yeah, I'm along those same lines. Either you are. Oh man, I want to be very careful of Pastor up there. Okay.
Why? He the one that started it. What you mean?
It's a real question.
No. I'm just saying where I'm about to go. Just so I'm humble enough, been humble enough on this show.
We already here, bro.
Put it out there, okay? I'm willing to be, change my mind and all that.
That's right.
You're either supposed to be by design single and praising the Lord, or in a marriage and praising the Lord together. Right? That's where I'm at. Now, anything outside of that is, you get into the fornication, and more notably, all the different titles that comes from. But to Loss's point, I think is what he's saying. To Loss's point, the ideal of money being the thing that defines it as being a whole. Money is just an exchange of goods and services. So sometimes we're able to say, hey, for this dinner, for this thing over here, for this purse, it's still an exchange for sex. So I think that's why he's still counting. So, but my definition of what a whole phase is just a phase that you're intentionally seeking casual sex.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant.
I like that
What
word.
I do, Robert?
The key word in your sentence was intentionally.
Intentional.
Yeah.
Especially for women, if they believe that they are going somewhere, like, oh man, they get wooed and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, well, see you later. It's like, well, okay. So now I've had sex with this person. I'm trying to make it work with the next, but I'm not intentionally out here being with multiple partners.
Yeah. I would say I was going to talk about the money and things of that nature. It's the bartering system is the bartering system. It don't have to be currency. You know what I'm saying? There are different types of currency. It just so happens that the green stacks is what we deal with in today's time. But some people exchange time for sex. You have provided me an emotional connection to be able to give that to you. You know what I'm saying? So I would say like a hoe is someone that doesn't understand the value of their body, and they just give it away. Right. So we can look at that position from Jay Zillis. We can look at that position from Roberts, from everybody. I think that's why the thing that I'm saying, trying to get to what I've said before, And what I had, I've said many times before, and women struggle with this idea about keeping their legs closed, because if we all agree on sex is good and is good in the act of sex, but we are not agreeing on the design of sex. And because there is not an agreement on that sex was designed and created for married people, then this is why we're having a hard time getting along. Because as you see it, men are like, listen, well, there are men that are telling men, hey, get your stacks up, get your money right, and you can choose, you have the options of who you want to get with, right? Then you have women saying, hey, if he giving it to, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go for the bag, you know, and I'm cool with whoever I sleep with. And if he giving me something, then I gotta give that into return. I mean, there are women that are saying, I think I was watching Anton Daniels show and some other show. And the question was, if you want a man to do all this for you, what is it that you're able to bring and give to him? The lady said she couldn't think of anything other than, she said, bills and kids. Bills and kids. On another show, the 20 versus 1, or something like that. Dude, I don't know who he is. He said, hey, so what you gonna give me? I'm giving you all this. She said sex. So she valued herself with her vagina. And that is what's going on right now, in my humble opinion. The reason why we can't get along is we don't understand what sex is designed for, and everybody is positioning themselves in a way to give it or get it. And so if we can get to the point of understanding that, I think we'll be in a better place. But that's just me on my platform. Anybody have something to add before we move on?
Yeah, I'm going to add some, Humble Dad.
Oh, go ahead.
No. There was an experiment that was done with some monkeys, Humble Dad. I don't know if you saw this or not, where they actually trained the monkeys to exchange money for grapes.
I think so.
And what the monkeys found out was that they can exchange that money for sex with the female monkeys. So what happened was they had to stop the experiment so that the monkeys wouldn't have an unhealthy exchange between monkeys, so they couldn't, go back and do regular monkey business stuff if they knew that the monkeys could exchange money for sex. And this has nothing to do with religion or anything like that. It was just a basic, fundamental thing that people do, or that animals do, that we haven't understood. So outside of religion itself, I think that is something that we have to explore, whether or not, is this something that's baked into us, or is it something that we're supposed to, I put it like this, being of a greater mammal or greater apex animal, that we should evolve beyond that. But I think that actually speaks to something of our lower cortex of who we really are. You see what I'm saying? So if monkeys could exchange money for sex, then what hope do we have?
But I go back to what I was saying though. Like, what did the monkeys buy? What the girl, when they got the money, what they buy?
She was trying to eat, man.
She bought some food.
Entertainment and food. That's prototypes.
Coming back to the snacks. You know what I'm saying?
For those that don't know, Prototype said that the way that you keep a woman basically is entertain her and feed her, and she will be good. That has been said.
Prototype has been proven once again correct.
In the primates. That's crazy. Robert, what you got?
I think everything you said was like 100% spot on. Probably you said a lot of great things. That's like the best thing I've ever heard you say. Because if I'm honest, I made a post a little while ago that talked about how not marriages, but like relationships fail because they're. I think while we talked about the whole phase, I think men specifically, but then I think it goes to both genders. But men specifically fall into a lazy phase. And I think the lazy phase is we don't want to take you out no more, and the first date is at the house. And so when that first date is at the house, it opens up the door for physical activity. And while we do agree, like I said, in my first answer, doing it outside of its proper design is really us not really agreeing, or us agreeing to disagree to a certain degree. And that being like every relationship that I've had that has failed in my adult life is because I didn't go through a whole phase. I went through a lazy phase. And so it's hard to learn someone's intentions. It's hard to get along when you don't learn someone's intentions by asking the proper questions. I know we talked about the voting question and things like that, but I think it's important that communication is had and hard questions are asked up front, much to Jamie's point, and there is a wrong answer. I get that, because you get to learn someone's personality and their intentions like in the beginning, and you omit someone's ability to hide behind their representative, as longer, like a lot of times when you don't ask the right questions, I can hide behind my representative for a long time. But when you ask the right questions, the real me is going to come out eventually. I can only lie so long. And so then, like, I just love that, because sex, yeah, we agree on that. But when it is had outside of, its proper design, it does mess things up. And it causes us to not agree in the future. It develops insecurities that you didn't have to have. It develops questions you didn't have to have. I started asking questions like, did you ever have a whole phase? I didn't have to ask you that if I would have did it in its proper design. You know what I mean? Like, for real. And that's the liberty in these conversations, is kind of getting to the root of, why do you even ask that question? Because I probably started dealing with somebody sexually before I started dealing with them intellectually. And then when I get mad, I want to throw around things like, you need to have emotional intelligence. No, I shouldn't have had sex with you so that my spirit is not entertained with your spirit. And now we're having a wrestle, right? Between our physical beings, but then our spiritual beings, because we're arguing not only with our spirit, man, but now it's kind of coming out in the flesh. And so all that comes from just not agreeing. So thank you for that, Humble Dad. That was good. You landed that plane good, Doc.
I appreciate that, man. And, we can all tell that Robert misses being with us.
Oh, man. Hug, man. Hug, man. Hug, man.
So this kind of leads me to the next question that I had, because I'm gonna just ask it. I want to know, what would it take to bring men and women together? Robert, since you had to say last, who would you like to go first now?
Dwayne, you always got something, man. Dwayne, get it to me, Doc.
Oh, what would it take to bring man and woman together? Honestly, I'd say God, because that what y'all were talking about is whenever you say perversion, or whenever you say using something out of its use or its intended use, it's a perversion, right? So I used the word appetite earlier. If you saw somebody overindulging on food, is that healthy or unhealthy? Let's say that's unhealthy. Whenever you see somebody with an eating disorder, prototype, you said food. Now some others said sex. I agree with you on the food, but we can abuse and misuse those things. And whenever we do that, it becomes a perversion of what its intended purpose is for. So I think once we do that, everything then becomes unhealthy. So I use the saying, if from a strip club, I don't like going to strip clubs. I never have. It's a waste of money. I'd be the monkey and holding on to my money. Hell no, I ain't going. But I then picture, what if somebody was going in and watching a piece of bacon spin around, right? They have an appetite for food, right? Or a nice steak spinning around. I'm going off the topic of appetite. This is what I'm going off of. And that's the type of thing that I see whenever I look at a man looking at a woman with straight lust. So what I'm trying to get at is, sin is what causes these problems. The lack of satisfaction or the overindulgence. So there's a something I've heard about as for a fire. A fire is not good on your bed. A fire is not good in your garage. A fire is not good, let's say, underneath your bed. But a fire is good in a fireplace. A fire is good in the fire pit. And that's what the same thing as with sex. Sex is appropriate with inside marriage. And outside of that, it can be dangerous. So the reason why I say God is because God is a God of order. And outside of that is disorder. And God is not of disorder. So that's what I say, what it would take. God.
All right. Who you got to do next?
Renee, come on with it.
What's the question again? Is it how can we get along?
what will bring men and women together?
What it take to bring men and women together? Thank you, Jason.
Okay, so I believe respect and love will bring them together. So respect from the aspect of the woman, they need to, well, not they, we need to understand that men operate and thrive off respect. And a lot of women are very disrespectful. And women thrive and operate off love. But you can't get the love that you want being disrespectful to a man that you like or admire. So if you learn how to operate and respect, even if you're frustrated, in return, you'll get the love that you desire.
That's what's up. I appreciate that. Who you got going next?
Lost in translation.
Thank you. Here's the basis for everything that we do is being able to address each other's insecurity with respect. You know what I'm saying? And I think what happens is whenever we get into relationships, we like to use things we shouldn't use to win arguments that we shouldn't have had in the first place. That's the main reason why most relationships fail, is because we take each other's insecurities and wield them as weapons when we should actually be using it to make sure that we love each other, to be honest. You know, because think about it, anytime somebody get into an argument, the first thing they do is they bring up the softest thing to get into a blow. You know what I mean? Just to weaken that person. And you're supposed to be in a relationship where it's supposed to be the safest place you are to address those insecurities, whether you're a man or a female. You know what I mean? So my whole thing is this: if you're getting to the point where you're wielding each other's insecurities as a weapon, I don't think that relationship is a safe place for you to be in. But in order for us to get along, that is the first place we have to start, is to make sure that the relationship is a safe place to address each other's insecurities, because those things are where you actually get to really know who that person is, knowing that person's why. I have a question that I always say, man, know your why. You know why you're in a relationship. Know why your relationship exists. You know what I mean? You could be in a relationship with somebody and it looks as if they're working to build a relationship, build a family, but in essence, they're actually looking to impress their family members. And that's a beast of a totally different nature. You know, and comparison is the thief of joy. You could be out here working yourself to death, you know, thinking that you're pouring into your family, when in essence, all she's doing is actually, you know, looking to look good in front of her family, or vice versa. You know, you can't build a relationship that way. You know, that's the reason why you have to know your why. And in order to do that, your relationship must be a safe place to address each other's insecurities. The next person I'm gonna go with Robert, man, next.
Two things: accountability, sacrifice. My dad told me a long time ago, it's not equal gift, it's equal sacrifice. And he told me you'll never work with a lady until you get with someone that's willing, that has something to lose. And so you gotta, and so she has to have something to lose to have something to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, not to go back to the old conversation, but that's why you got to bring more than just your body to the table. You know what I mean? You got to bring something else. And then accountability, because I genuinely believe a person that is not accountable is a person that likes lying to themselves. If they'll lie to themselves, they'll lie to you too. So accountability and sacrifice.
What does accountability look like? Because I'm in this group, right? And then the post, it says the last time women apologized was with Anita Baker song.
I mean, so I don't have no long answer. I'd love to hear everybody else's stance on this, but for me, accountability is more than just standing on business. It's also standing on your sword when you mess up. You know what I'm saying? It's just being able to be equidistant to right and wrong, and just having some sort of internal integrity system. You know what I mean? Like, stand on your truth, know your truth, and then live your truth. Don't come out here living lies. You know, that's all. Don't live no lie.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
Prototype. I don't think you answered this question yet.
No, I did not. What would bring men and women together? Belief that this relationship is that serves their best interests. Regardless of all the integrity stuff and all that, you gotta have. It's the Patriot way. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you know, to bring a sports team together, like me doing this role on this team, a receiver will block downfield because that running back, they believe in it, you know, he's a beast and he's going to score. You know what I'm saying? We could get to a championship, but this championship not only means more money, this championship means more opportunity after that. This championship means I can get some commercial deals. I could get better contracts. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's why is different, but you know what I'm saying? But they focus it in on, if we do this task, then we all come together. And I don't care what I have to do. I'll play any position, do anything. I'll block, I'll dive, I'll take any sacrifice I have to. If us achieving this goal gets me what I desire next, you know what I'm saying? So that's how you get men and women together. I don't think it's not about really integrity or anything like that. It's really just based on, do they believe that this that they're doing with you is going to make me better? Is it in my best interest? You know what I'm saying? Like, I always like to use the analogy of men got to be companies, you know what I'm saying? And be Google. You know, everybody wants to work for Google because it's going to put them in the best situation, that, you know what I'm saying, so they can then buy their dream house, live the life they always wanted to live. You know what I'm saying? So to get the best production out of your workers, you know, out of your employees, they then have to believe that this will serve them the way they need to be served. So, like I said, I don't really think it's about integrity or anything like that.
Hey, that was a phenomenal take, bro. Who you got going next?
Jamie, did you go?
No, I was like,
okay, let's go with Jay Zilla.
That was me. That was me.
Talking about the pump fake, man.
He didn't go though.
I know. He was doing the thing.
Go ahead, Jay Zilla.
Oh, Jamie, have you gone? No? Okay, Jay Zilla. Yeah, it was hilarious. Man, clear vision. I think that's why people who, I dare say, appropriately follow the word seem to be in better places, even if they do so unintentionally. Like people who say, here's how we're going to run our household, and it looks like a Christian household, even if they are, unbelievers. I do think people who truly believe, they may not understand all of God's wisdom and regulations, but that's why God himself says to seek ye the kingdom of heaven. You're not going to get it on your own. I mean, otherwise there would be no need for Christ, right? So once you do that and y'all are both headed towards the same direction, and y'all can stop focusing on the wrong things and utilizing the wrong tools for the problems that you have, that's going to be fruitful, right? Because otherwise, it's like, I don't know, worried about the Wi-Fi not working when the house is on fire, to keep with the fire analogies. That's something we have to really intentionally, back to that word, work on together. One thing my wife and I have as a rule is we are not going to yell at each other. We're not going to call each other out of our names. We are going to be respectful to each other, going to hear each other out. And if we disagree, all right, do your own thing. And then we'll come back together and look at how it worked. And okay, your way didn't work. Maybe now we try my way, So we're hearing a lot of attitude out there amongst women and disrespect. And I get that, but attitude reflects leadership. All right. Shout out to Remember the Titans. That was for you, Proto. And then we'll have Miss It's Me, Jamie.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say a standard. I like that. I'll give a standard because everybody's given like a biblical answer and a non-biblical answer. And I guess the real end thing, it would be a standard. If we have a clear standard on what women should hold one another accountable to, and we work on women and the men have a standard that they will hold one another accountable to, then we will be able to get along. But because there's not a universal standard, and right now, like we'll say one standard that we have universally is get the bag, right? There is a universal standard for the women to understand to get the bag. Now, I was talking to one of my clients, and one of a Caucasian woman way of getting the bag is getting married early on, right? And securing insurance, or if he dies, there's a security in that. If anything happens to him, and he passes away, she will not be on the obituary as a good friend. Okay. In our community, it's not like that. What? You've seen that. You've seen somebody be with a woman in our community for 20, 30 years. And when he passes away, all she is on the obituary is, and his good friend, such and such. Not the wife, not what.
But if she's the beneficiary on that life insurance policy, it don't matter what you list me as an obituary.
A lot of times she's not.
Well, she's not smart. She's not smart. That's on her.
Right. But a big percentage of the time, she's not. And so our securing the bag is making sure he buys us hair or some jewelry or something shallow. And I'm just being honest. The universal standard, I'm giving an example so they could be understanding. So now we need to change that standard, right? And have clear and concise standards of what we want our community to look like. And then we need to apply those standards to ourselves and then to one another. So if I see sis over here playing, you know what I'm saying, and getting pregnant multiple times, and you're good enough to lay down and have a baby, but you're not going to get married because you're scared to get married, but you're not scared to die in labor. That don't make sense to me, right? That doesn't make logical sense. And so I even had to check one of my clients, which I love her dearly, don't get this twisted, but I was like, what you're doing doesn't make sense to me. And so that's me. I have a standard, and me holding her to a standard. That's not only going to save myself, but her too. Like, sis, what are you doing? Why would you want to do that? If something happens and he decides next, that he don't want to get married to you, now you're stuck with these kids and another kid. And he can leave at any time. So I'm just saying a standard, whether the person is saved or not, if we have some clear standards that we are going to live by, or that we want to see our community by, not Sexy Red on, I guess, the BT words. I did see a clip. So I'm going to say not twerking and gyrating, not giving out STDs or putting lip balms on that have STD names on it. Then we'll be okay. We could change the dynamics of it. But we entertain foolishness. We applaud foolishness. And that's why foolishness is allowed to keep happening. Because even if we didn't agree with the BET Awards, we watched it so they got views and airtime, which then tells the marketing people, I'm just being real, right, to keep doing this, because eventually they're going to be desensitized enough to accept it. And that's how Sexy Red came into play.
That's you? You done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm getting off the soapbox.
You, Renee. So you, Renee.
I already went.
You did? Oh, so she was last?
She went before me.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. Look at me not paying attention.
It's on you, HD.
It show is on me. Y'all said everything. I don't know what to say.
You can't use that one.
Stop stealing Jamie's tagline, man.
What did Humble Dad say?
Y'all answers have been so wonderful. I don't know what to say when y'all taking everything.
But you weren't paying attention to mine, so you don't know what I said.
That's crazy. That's my bad. I do apologize. I'm usually paying attention to everybody, but I start texting somebody.
You're fine.
The thing that I would say that would bring men and women together is them having logical and reasonable expectations of one another. If I had to kind of take from everybody else. So, for example, it only, I think Ricky would say this, you're only looking for one. If you're a man, you should only be looking for one woman, and you should have clarity of what type of woman you want, and then find out where those type of women may be and go there. Use your network of individuals to let them know you're looking. And then for a woman, I would say the same thing, that you should have logical, reasonable expectations of what it would be to be in a relationship. So I put it, even a bow on it. In my estimation, I think that most men know the foundation of what it would take to be a husband. I'll explain. Most men know that they're going to have to sacrifice and give up something when they get married. They know that. Most men want children inside of a marriage. Most men. Most men have some sense of structure within their day. Not all, but most have some sense of a structure, right? Because most men are working. You know what I'm saying? So they more than likely are getting up to go to work. And most men, if not all, want respect. And respect is not hard to give if you understand what respect is. To women, the challenge that you all are having that y'all don't realize is that y'all have a sister by the name of Eve who have put you in a position to try to dethrone the man at every opportunity that you get. That's the trauma that you all are unable to know. And I don't believe that is being taught to y'all from most pastors, most mothers, most fathers, most people in general. So if women could see that, if they could just understand that most men are really solid dudes. I'm not saying they're great. I'm just saying most of them are solid, right? And stop having these unreasonable expectations. Same thing with a man, right? Stop having these unreasonable expectations of what you think a woman should be if you don't have no structure, no clarity of where you're trying to go, right? So I think that if both of them have a conversation with one another, they can come together, because you're only looking for that one that you need to come together with. And stop worrying about, I guess, the Pookies, the Ray Rays, the Keishas. That's for some people, you don't have to worry about that. But for me, I'm worrying about all of y'all, because I'm trying to change the world. Like 100% facts. I can't stop being me. That's why I have these conversations in these podcasts, because I'm not just trying to change one person. I'm trying to change generations of people. And so, that's why I have you all on the podcast, because I believe in hearing perspectives other than mine, and somebody will gravitate to something that you say. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna hold y'all. You know what I'm saying? Robert took up most of my time, and so Jay Zilla did a wonderful job by reserving his questions. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate Renee coming on. Nobody Prototype did well, because he usually mess with new people. Okay, all right, so appreciate that, Prototype. And then Jamie actually finished some of her answers. So shout out to Jamie. And Lost in Translation had some solid points. You know what I'm saying? He always gonna say that, right? You know what I'm saying? And then Dwayne is always unreasonably late. I think it's been a wonderful show, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? What did you think, Renee, before we get out of here?
I really enjoyed myself. You guys should invite me back.
Well, we'll take a poll and see what they say.
Take a poll on if I really mess with every new panelist that come on. Do y'all believe that?
I ain't gonna lie, you got me, dog.
Yes.
First time on the show, you got it at me real good. You got
Hey, Jay Zilla, did he get you?
Oh my God. Single parent mom, soft sucker, simp. I got it all, man. I had to really pray about some things, man.
Yeah, we had to jump Jay Zilla in, man.
And told me I was the leader in the community, because I ain't want to coach the basketball kids. I was like, leave, man.
But Prototype, you must like me, and I appreciate it.
Leave, man.
Oh no, he was being nice, because he laughed at your first answer.
That was saying he must. I mean, I'm glad he must like me a little bit.
Just a little bit, because he definitely laughed at your first answer. The last person he laughed at, they didn't come back.
Man.
Oh wow.
You read them out.
Jamie, did he get you? Jamie, did Prototype get at you when you first?
He was talking about her honey buns and oodles and noodles and stuff, and that was a wrap. After that, she was a fan after that.
Yeah. But thank goodness I got tough skin.
Yeah, listen, Prototype, I wouldn't say it if I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I figured that you do all the chop ups, but I'm like, dang, I mean,
I wasn't no real man, because I didn't want to coach the basketball team. Right.
All right.
and people still came back. Prototype.
See, that's why girls need brothers when they dating. You know what I mean? Because that's the type of stuff we do. We test that skin a little bit. You know what I'm saying, and then let them know like, hey, no, don't bring him back. Whatever he soft. No, he ain't the one.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's really good for you to say prototype. And also, before we get out of here, women understand that one thing about men, we gonna check each other on the first day that we meet each other. So don't worry about if our ego is getting too big or not. You know, we gonna test where they manhood at, and they already know that though. You know what I'm saying? So men that get offended easily, you already know he probably shouldn't even be in your circle, man. So I have to teach some women that myself. So shout out to those that check dudes on the regular. Women, step up your game. Is all I'm saying. Hey, don't forget to check out Robert on Give Me a Second podcast. You still doing that, bro? Because I know you.
Yeah, man. We just took a quick hiatus. You know, you got to take season breaks, man. We back. We doing our thing. Yeah.
Hey, check him out. He's doing wonderful things. Prototype. Hey, we doing Tuesday nights. You still working?
We bi-weekly on a Tuesday night, man. I've been coaching my butt off, man. Like it's going nuts. Football season is now here. I got this week off, and then next week I'm back at it. So, but yeah, Tuesday nights bi-weekly.
Yeah, you coaching.
No, I coach too.
What you coach?
Okay.
I'm coaching track and basketball this school year.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. Track and basketball. Hey, lost, and they can reach you still. Just type in the name, huh?
That's right, man. I'm here, man, all the time. Here on Mondays, and on Black Man Unfiltered on my channel on Tuesdays, flipping tables with BMU, and then on Fridays at the barbershop on Black Man Unfiltered. So that's where you'll be able to find me. And from time to time, I'm available on other people's podcasts too. But just check in because I'm a simulcast to my channel, so you'll always be able to catch me live. When you see the light on, come on in, man. It's hot and ready.
That's a bet. Hey, Jamie, what can they get you?
On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Jamie Radiance Moorhead 7. That's my full name. So Jamie Radiance Moorhead 7. Don't make it harder than it gotta be. Full name.
Have you interviewed anybody lately?
No, I'm switching up some things. I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of wiped out my entire Instagram. So I'm doing some switching of things.
No
so,
Okay.
Yeah. I got it.
And then you got Jay Zilla.
Hey, we have 3 podcasts going: Redeem Life Podcast, What the Trap Podcast, and Urban Academia Podcast, all under one umbrella right there at StudioGWB.com.
That's a bet. And then Miss Renee, where can they find you?
On Instagram at Renee2Henry.
Renee2Henry. And then Dwayne, you can catch him at Dwayne Jones Photography. And then, of course, you can check me out here, always on Mondays, repping on what we do, giving you answers and solutions to the things you seem to not be able to solve. But we appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous. Seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.